which is going to be a beginner's guide for Queen of Tide using readily available heroes. Okay, so we're going to use some synthesizable heroes, some one of the Elite, and of course the free hero Hitoshi to clear off Queen of Tide, and we will see how that can be done. So at the same time, I would also like to remind you, please do like my videos and of course subscribe to my channel. And also, this is a reminder of the Titan Arises. Of course, we have the collaboration going on with Attack on Titan, so do not forget that. Please do not forget to save your summons. There are going to be plenty of events coming in, so you know the event which is ready, and so please wait for it. Another 3 days and 22 hours as of now, and yeah, I'm just waiting for that event to start, and yeah, we're going to have some fun together during that event. Okay, and yeah, do remember all the heroes that are available are going to be are available by summoning, or can be summoned through advanced summon, not through limited summon, so it's more accessible to everybody. But of course, you do have to have enough advanced summon with you to do that. But at the same time, we also have got have been introduced to Levi, the Ace Titan Levi. So yeah, you can check out my video on him. So he's going to be a really good, awesome hero. He's got plenty of dodging on himself, and he's also going to counterattack, which is really great, really great. And he's also going to deal damage, reduce the max HP on the hero. He's going to be pretty good at Arena. Okay, so we'll look at that later, but let's get to the Queen of Tide guide. So as you know, Queen of Tide has got some basic skills. You know, you can see over here, this dungeon is one of the most important dungeons in the entire game. So for progression and even for end game, this is the dungeon that you require to farm. So as a beginner, you need to farm this dungeon as soon as possible. And you know, Queen of Tide has got certain skills. She has got this AOE attack, she has got this stun that is placed on the person with the highest attack, and she also has got an AOE attack that also places a shield on herself. And she's got a minion that heals her, and another minion that also does AOE attack and also places a joint attack on one of the minion on themselves if there is the other minion is not there. So that's the basic mechanic of Queen of Tides. To deal with that, you have to deal sufficient damage on the Queen of Tides or place block heal on them. But as a beginner, you may not be having a hero like Jonathan that can place block heal. Okay, so that's why basically what we are going to do is to take out the right minion first, who is doing the heals on the boss, and then deal with the boss. Okay, we don't have to worry about the left minion because we will have sufficient heals on us to do that. Okay, so let's look at the team composition, and let's look at how we are going to deal with this dungeon. Okay, so this is going to be a completely free to play kind of team. So if you go to the altar and you go to hero synthesis, you can see these synthesizable heroes over here. Okay, of course Bella is synthesizable using further synthesizable heroes, but what I'm talking about when we're going to use in Queen of Tides, we are going to use Santis. I'm not going to use Gangelo, even though I have Gangelo. I'm not going to use Gangelo here, just Santis, Hakrin, and Vance. Okay, so these are the three basic heroes. In addition to these three heroes, you also, beginners are now getting Hitoshi. So I will also show a team showcasing Hitoshi as well. And the other hero that I'm going to use is a Rodira. Okay, so is that Rodira? Okay, so she's Rodira. She's an Elite support hero. She's a healer. Currently, I have placed my Rodira at pretty high stats. Basically, you don't require that kind of speed over there. 212 speed is too high. So I'll just, even though she does not have that many gears as of now, I have removed a couple of gear on from her just so that I can bring down her speed and her stats to the level that is required by beginners. Possibly even if I remove say if I unequip her from this one as well, my Rodira will still have a pretty good stat, 212 speed, 17,000 HP and 72 focus. Okay, so I don't need a lot of focus on her, but yeah, she also has got a skill to place attack down on her basic, so I think like that will be good for her as well. Yeah, you do need her a little bit faster. You need her faster than your Santis and your attacker, because you want her to cleanse, because Queen of Tide has got the ability to stun someone, which also deals damage on that person with the highest attack. So it's better that you use that cleanse of her, and she's also a pretty good healer. So yeah. Then the next one that I'm using is Vance. So you can see the gear of Vance over here. So again, I have basically changed the gear such that he doesn't get too high a stat. So his weapon is at 12 and his neck is completely not upgraded at all. Okay, so he has got a stat of 3800 attack, 162 speed and 254 crit damage, which I think is achievable, because I'm dealing with stage 12 here, right? So by the time you reach stage 12, you should be able to get this kind of stat. But I just wanted to have him with 100% crit rate. Let me just look at the gear over here, this one. So yeah, I think like I can remove this as well. I don't need that here. So let's unequip this one and see what his stats are. So he still has got the same kind, 146 crit damage. Okay, so that's less than 250 crit damage. So yeah, basically achievable by most. 3500 attack. So we'll see if this will work or not. Okay, with regards to my Hakrin, again, I have removed a couple of gear from him because all of my heroes are at 70. So I wanted to bring down their stats to the level that can be, achieved by most of you, which is beginner heroes. But I would just recommend that you fuse as many Hakrins as possible, take him to 70. So even after I have removed a couple of gear from him, he still has got pretty high defense. Okay, I think like you don't need him at that high a defense. Like, you got 143 speed. Let me just remove a little bit of defense from him as well. So let's just unequip that as well. So he's now at 3200 defense. Okay, 134 speed. I think like I do need a little bit more speed than that. So I'll just put in some basic speed set on him. Let's go here. Just give him a little bit more speed without any basically... I don't care whether he's getting anything or not. Just so that he gets some more speed out there, that's all. Okay, so now that his stats are like 149 speed. Okay, so that's all that I'm looking at for my Hakrin. And then my Santis, again, I have removed a couple of gear from my Santis, but I kept the revival set on her because I wanted her to heal herself up as much as possible. She's at 19,000 HP and 178 crit damage and 81 focus. Okay, so let's go in and I have to show you my Hitoshi as well. Again, in Hitoshi, I have removed a couple of gear from him as well, just so that I can get him down to the level of beginner level. Okay, so he has got 4,300 attack, 150 speed, 262 crit damage and 62 crit rate. Of course, you do need him at 70 crit rate. It's because I removed a couple of gear from him. I don't want to give him more gear out here because then he'll become overpowered for stage 12. But yeah, if you're using him, you can use him in this way as well. Okay, so yeah, let's go to stage 12. Let's go here. So I'll first show you the Vance one, where you are having a completely fusible team. Of course, Rodira is not fusible, but at least she's an elite, so you are easily and readily accessible. She's easily and readily accessible. So let's look at this run over here and see how fast it can go through. Yeah, it is going to be a bit slower because you don't have any AOE damager at the start to clear off the waves. But yeah, Vance should do pretty well over here and will be able to survive, and I'll have sufficient heals from my Rodira to heal my team, so I don't have to bother about that. But you'll see that in stage 12 I have placed this kind of battle boss attack sequence where I'm going to attack Elite on the right first and then the boss. That's because the Elite on the right heals the boss, and because at the beginner stage you may not be having a Jonathan, or you may not be having some other hero that can place block heal on the boss. So if the boss does not get the block heal out there, then she's going to keep getting healed, and she's just going to keep taking even if you will manage to ultimately clear the Elites, you will not be able to like clear it fast enough. So it's better to hit the Elite on the right first and then the boss. If you have got good enough gear, if you have got good enough heroes, you will be able to one-shot you'll be able to clear the stage 12 without having to go after the Elite on the right first. Okay, but when it comes to the beginner stage kind of thing, it's better to go after the Elite on the right first and then go after the boss. In that way you will also take lesser damage from the Elite on the right, and also be able to finish off the run without the boss having the opportunity to heal much. Okay, so this is what I'm doing at this moment. So you can see that my Vance is all of my heroes are completely topped up. They are faster than the boss, so you need to get the speed. When you're going to stage 12, you do need to get the speed to above 142, at least above 142, so that all your team members are moving before the boss is moving and before the Elites before the waves are moving. So in that way you do not have to worry about dying off, and also don't worry about Vance dying. He has got this trait where he doesn't die when he takes a fatal damage first, so he just survives himself up. So he has got additional survivability, and that's why I chose Vance over here. And of course, as you know, he's also a fusible, synthesizable hero, and that makes him much more easier to acquire. And the team here is also very easy to acquire for a beginner. So the first thing that you need to do is to fuse these heroes. The Santis, her utility drops down at hell stage, but still Santis Gangelo team is the only team that can still beat Gemini 16, right? So without any problem, that's the most easily acquirable team that can beat hell stage in Gemini. So her utility drops down in other dungeons, but in Gemini she's still usable. So it's better to build her as soon as possible. And then of course Hakrin, he is a must do champion. If you want to finish off Hell Stage 16, you still require Hakrin. Okay, so it's not that there are teams without Hakrin as well, but if you're having a slower team, if you want to use a slower team, you can always use Hakrin. You can see one of my videos in Hell Stage 16 where I'm still using Hakrin. So you don't have to worry about the utility of Hakrin. As far as Vance is concerned, Vance is still usable at endgame arena, okay, and even in but not in Void Tower Heart. Earlier he used to be very good at Void Tower Heart, but once the permanent iteration came through where you require debuffs on the waves, his utility has come down in Void Tower Heart. But at the same time you can still use him in arena. You can still say I still face in Diamond Arena, I still face teams that are having Vance there, and if I'm not careful with that, I'll still face a lot of problem with that team. Okay, so Vance is also pretty good at that. So all the three synthesizable hero that you see here are extremely good. Okay, don't worry about fusing them, taking them to 60, taking them to 70, completely ascending them. You can do that. They are also usable in Ash Magister. So I'll show you another I'll be doing another guide on Ash Magister 12 for beginners. So in that you'll see that these same heroes, Santis and Hakrin, are still usable there. Of course the utility of Vance drops down there because he's weak affinity there, but Hakrin and Santis are still really good when it comes to the other Ash Magister as well. So let's quickly look at the other team using Hitoshi. So let's go there. So let's change the team, let's remove Vance and let's use Hitoshi. Okay, that's okay. Okay, so this is going to be a faster run because Hitoshi is going to clear the waves much more faster, even though mine is not at 70% crit rate. Okay, so but because Hitoshi has got those AoE damage and his ultimate just resets itself when he kills someone, so it is much more faster over here. So you can see the first two waves moved very fast. So Hitoshi is absolutely good for you for early game, mid game, when you're trying to farm all this gear from Queen of Tides. He is fantastic. Okay, and you can see that I have not given them enough gear. The stats are pretty low when compared to end game gear, but yeah, you still can use them, and they are absolutely fantastic over here. And for beginners, Hitoshi is a free to receive. Sorry, he's a free hero. So yeah, it's pretty easy for us to for them to build him up. Of course, to make him ascend him, it's going to be a problem, but at least you can get him, take him to 70, and then, you know, give him enough gear, take him to that stat level that is required. Even if you take him to around 4,000 attack, somewhere close to 4,000 attack, that should be sufficient for you, and get him to 70 crit and as much crit rate as possible. Crit damage, sorry, 70 crit rate and as much crit damage as possible. So that's all that is required for you as far as Hitoshi is concerned. With regards to Hakrin, yeah, you do need to give him as much defense as possible. Somewhere around 3,500 to 3,600 defense would be enough, but you do need to take him to level 70 to get to that level at the beginner stage. Okay, so these are the 4 or 5 heroes that you need to concentrate at the beginning of the game, so that you can farm Queen of Tides as much as possible. And that's the aim. That's what you should look at as a beginner. Look at farming Queen of Tides as much as possible to get those curse set, warrior set, and revival set. Those 3 sets are absolutely fabulous at beginner and mid game. Okay, even at end game, curse set is really good. Revival set is absolutely fantastic. We still use them at end game. Okay, so basically those are the basic gear that is required by us, and you need to farm Queen of Tides as much as possible. And only by finishing off 12 and getting all those warrior set, curse set, and revival set, you will be able to reach hell stage. Okay, so it's better for us to farm those heroes as much as possible. And yeah, so as you can see, I'm pretty easily finishing off these runs, even with those lack of gear on my team, the lower stats that I have on them compared to what I would be having if I had used my full gear. By this time I would have finished this one, but yeah, it's easier that way. So this is a guide just for the beginners. Okay, so as an end game player, I have to reduce the gear from them in order to bring to the stats that is required for beginner level. So this is basically a base team that I've used. I've also used my Rodira and Hell stage, so don't worry about building Rodira. You can see one of my guides where I've used Rodira in Hell stage as well. So yeah, so this is how I was able to finish off the Queen of Tides Hell stage, sorry, 12, Queen of Tides 12, without with just the fusible synthesizable heroes and using just base gear on them. Like, these are the gears that I'm using on my team, right? Just basic gear, 3,300 defense. That's all that I have on my Queen of Tides 12, and that's all that is required on your Hakrin to get there. But you don't need to get him faster. 142 speed is required, but of course by the time you reach 70, you'll have a base speed of 115, so 140 speed should not be a big issue. If you do not have enough Vanguard gear, not a problem. Use your speed gear, use any gear that gives you sufficient speed. Okay, just good enough for you to take him to that level. 3,300 defense or 3,500 defense, more than enough. 3,300 is more than enough. Even 3,200 would be sufficient to do that. So that's it for the Queen of Tides guide for the beginner. What do you think about this? Okay, so you can also give your opinion on what hero do you have. Let me know on the comments what heroes you're using. If you require any advice, or if you require any other kind of guide for the kind of heroes that you have, please let me know. Okay, but these are all fusible, synthesizable heroes, so concentrate on that. Try to synthesize these heroes, and you can use them even at end game, that's for sure. So you synthesize those heroes and then farm Queen of Tides. If you need any help, if you need any advice, please post me on comment. You can contact me on Discord, and of course please do like this video and subscribe to my channel. So until I see you next time, peace, love, and blessings to all of you. Bye.